Have you ever stumbled on something so powerful, yet so quietly released, that it makes you question if the rest of the world's asleep? That's exactly what happened to me 3 nights ago. I wasn't hunting for hype, I was hunting for truth. And buried deep inside a Hedera update, I found it. A function so advanced it could change how you trade, how you earn, even how you trust digital systems. It's not about price action or charts. It's about a level of reliability that could finally make crypto feel safe again. And once you understand this, you'll never look at blockchain the same way. If you're interested in this topic, hit the like button, subscribe, and type interested in the comments, and I will give you a heart. You know that feeling when you realize something huge has been sitting right under everyone's nose and no one's paying attention? That was me a few nights ago. I was in our Discord, the usual 2 a.m. scroll session, when a member tagged me and said, "Hey, did you see what Hedera just did?" Now, I've covered almost every major network. XRP, Cardano, Solana, you name it. But the tone in his message made me pause. It wasn't hype, it was curiosity, that quiet kind of alert you only get when something genuinely big just happened. So I dig in, expecting maybe another minor patch or partnership headline, but instead I find hit 551, batch transactions. And honestly, my first thought was, wait, why isn't anyone talking about this? Because what I was reading wasn't some routine tweak. It was a fundamental upgrade in how trust itself works on a distributed ledger. Imagine this, you could run 50 separate crypto actions, mint tokens, send payments, verify identity, update data, and instead of executing them one by one, praying nothing fails halfway through, you bundle them all into one atomic action. Either everything goes perfectly or nothing happens at all. No partial losses, no frozen funds, no half-done chaos. That's exactly what Hedera just built into its core, not through complicated smart contracts, but natively. And that's when it hit me. This isn't just a developer upgrade, it's a user upgrade, your upgrade. Because think about it, what's the biggest fear most people still have in crypto? It's not missing the next pump, it's losing what they already have. The fear that one glitch, one hack, or one failed transaction could wipe out months of progress. We've all seen it. Gas errors, stuck transfers, botched swaps. And when that happens, it's not just frustrating, it's trust destroying. But this update, it fixes that. Hedera just made failure impossible at the transaction level. Either every part succeeds perfectly, or the network rolls everything back instantly, no in between. Now you might think cool tech, but what does that do for me? Here's where the need kicks in. This kind of atomic reliability means the dApps you'll use in the next few years for banking, tokenized real estate, maybe even payroll will finally feel like the real world. Smooth, instant, safe. No more wondering if your payment got stuck, no more splitting transfers into multiple steps, no more sleepless nights after pressing confirm. It's the difference between hoping your money system works and knowing it will. That's what Hedera's quietly doing, replacing fear with predictability. For investors, it means fewer vulnerabilities. For developers, it means fewer bugs. For regular users, it means one simple thing, peace of mind. And here's what's crazy. Almost no one in the mainstream noticed. While everyone else was shouting about ETFs, forks, and meme coins, this update rolled out silently, like a software cheat code slipped into the matrix. The kind of innovation that won't trend today, but will quietly power the apps you'll depend on 5 years from now. Because let's be real, the next phase of crypto adoption isn't about who can shout to the moon the loudest. It's about who can make people trust again. Hedera's not chasing attention, it's earning reliability. And that's where real wealth shifts start, not in hype, but in function. When I realized that, I thought about everyone watching this video. Investors, builders, even skeptics. Most people get in for profits, but what keeps them in long term? Stability, confidence, control. That's what HEAP 551 represents. The invisible architecture that finally gives crypto grown-up reliability. So while the rest of the market keeps playing roulette with the latest meme coin, Hedera's quietly building the rails for an economy that doesn't break under pressure. And here's the secret. When that world goes mainstream, it's the builders of trust, not the chasers of hype, who will own it. And that's the loop we're in now, isn't it? Because if Hedera just made crypto failure-proof, what does that mean for the projects and people who depend on it next? Here's the thing most people don't realize. 90% of crypto's problems aren't about price. They're about trust in execution. Every exchange hack, every failed bridge, every missing token transaction comes down to one terrifying uncertainty. Did that actually go through? HIP 551 is Hedera's way of saying, relax, we've got this. Let's unpack it. The new batch transaction system, also called atomic transactions, lets developers bundle up to 50 operations into one. Mint a token, transfer it, update permissions, even write data to Hedera consensus service. And instead of juggling separate commands, you can now do it in one coordinated heartbeat. If one fails, everything automatically reverses. It's a digital all-or-nothing safety switch, and it changes everything. Here's why. Before this, developers often had to build these kinds of protections themselves using custom smart contracts. That meant more coding, more cost, and more risk. Every extra line of solidity was another potential point of failure. Hedera removed that entire category of mistakes, not by adding new code, but by hardwiring the fix into the protocol itself. Think about the psychological difference here. On Ethereum, you hope your script runs correctly. On Hedera, the network guarantees it does, or it doesn't run at all. That's not marketing fluff. That's math-level certainty. So now let's look at what this means in the real world. Picture a tokenized property sale, a condo in Los Angeles represented by digital shares. Normally, that would involve multiple steps: verifying identity, transferring ownership, updating a registry, and releasing payment. If any one of those steps fails, the deal freezes mid-air. But with Hedera's atomic batching, the system can complete all those actions simultaneously with one click. Either every part succeeds perfectly, or the system aborts. No middle ground, no risk of losing money or ownership data. That's what I mean when I say this update isn't about hype. It's about life improvement. It's about finally getting technology that protects you from the flaws of the system. You won't have to know how the code works. You'll just know your transaction won't break halfway through. And that's bigger than people think, because reliability is the quiet killer feature that decides which networks survive the next decade. Look back at the early internet. People didn't switch from dial-up because it was flashy. They switched because broadband worked. That's what's happening here. Hedera is building the broadband version of blockchain. And the developers know it too. You can already see chatter in GitHub forums and Hedera's dev channels, projects testing how they can simplify identity systems, NFT issuance, and compliance tools using HIP-5 MIL51. The beauty is that it's native. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. The wheel just got smarter. And it's not just about developers. If you're an investor watching this, here's where it connects to you. The more secure and stable a network becomes, the more enterprises are willing to build on it. That means actual adoption, not speculation. And adoption, not hype, is what drives long-term value. Every update, like HIP 551, quietly nudges Hedera closer to becoming the default choice for serious institutions. Google, IBM, Dell, these aren't crypto bros. They're billion-dollar companies betting on infrastructure that doesn't fail. This update is one more reason they trust Hedera's architecture for enterprise-grade operations. And if you step back for a second, you'll see the pattern forming. Hedera isn't playing the same game as the others. It's not trying to be the next meme rocket or DeFi casino. It's building the plumbing for the digital economy, the stuff that actually runs the system when everyone else is too busy chasing the next pump. So while traders argue on Reddit about which coin will go to the moon, Hedera is over here quietly making the moon landing safe. That's why I always tell people this isn't just a crypto story, it's a civilization story. Because when we start trusting digital systems again, when your salary, your mortgage, your government services, your identity all operate on distributed ledgers, the question won't be which token pumps next. It'll be which network can the world afford to depend on. And if you're holding HBAR right now, that's not a coin, that's a ticket to the future. Because trust, once lost, takes generations to rebuild. But technology like this rebuilds it line by line, transaction by transaction. And that brings us to the next piece of this puzzle. Because as powerful as HIP 551 is, it's just the start. What happens when Hedera combines atomic transactions with scheduled automation? When the network starts executing entire sequences of tasks by itself? That's where the story takes a wild turn, and trust me, it's where things start getting seriously futuristic. I'll be honest with you, when I first saw Hedera's HIP 551, I thought, okay, cool feature. But the more I sat with it, the more I realized this isn't just an upgrade, it's the first domino. Because what Hedera just unlocked isn't only atomic transactions, it's automation with absolute trust. Imagine this. You set up a series of smart operations that execute themselves perfectly. No middlemen, no risk, no failed steps. A business could automatically distribute payroll, pay suppliers, log every detail to a verified ledger, and if anything goes wrong, it just reverses cleanly. No downtime, no human panic. It's like autopilot for the financial world. That's where Hedera is heading. And if you think that doesn't affect you, think again. This kind of automation is the difference between fighting with systems that keep breaking and living in a world where transactions simply work. And let's make it personal. Picture this. You're running a small business in Miami. You've got freelancers in the Philippines, suppliers in Germany, and clients paying you in USDC. Today, all that coordination is chaos. Wire delays, banking fees, conversion errors. But on Hedera, those payments could execute atomically across multiple currencies and accounts. You'd wake up to see every transaction confirmed, synced, and final. No pending, no process. That's not just convenience, that's time, money, and sanity back in your life. And that's why this update matters, because it moves crypto from being a gamble to being infrastructure. What Hedera is building isn't some speculative dream, it's a practical blueprint for how the digital economy should function. Predictable, precise, and human-proof. And the crazy part, it's happening while most of the market is distracted chasing volatility. Now let's zoom out even further. Developers are already talking about combining batch transactions with scheduled executions. Imagine automating entire sequences to trigger at exact times or conditions. Midnight payrolls, quarterly token distributions, automatic compliance audits, all running without manual intervention. And again, if a single step fails, it all rolls back. That's not just efficiency, that's accountability built into the code. It's wild because this isn't the kind of update that screams bull run, it whispers system takeover. This is how revolutions actually start, quietly, under the surface. The internet didn't explode overnight either. It grew through invisible infrastructure, better routers, faster connections, improved protocols, until one day, the world just worked differently. That's where Hedera is heading. And I'll be real with you, the reason I get emotional about this stuff is because I've seen what unreliable systems do to people. Missed paychecks, frozen funds, broken contracts, people losing not because they made bad trades, but because the system failed them. And now, for the first time, we have tech that doesn't just promise fairness, it enforces it. That's what Hedera represents. It's not hype, it's discipline. It's code built to keep its word. So what's next? You're going to see more projects quietly migrate to Hedera. Real estate tokenization, banking pilots, sustainability tracking, and enterprise identity solutions. Why? Because when the world goes digital, failure becomes unacceptable. And let's be honest, would you rather trust your digital identity, paycheck, or savings to a chain known for memes, or one that can handle 10,000 plus verified transactions per second without breaking a sweat? This is why I keep saying HBAR isn't just another coin, it's a confidence layer. The moment people realize their livelihoods can depend on a network that's carbon negative, governed by giants like Google, IBM, and Dell, and now capable of executing atomic automated operations, that's when adoption hits escape velocity. So here's the truth. The people getting in now, the ones watching this video to the end, absorbing this, they're not speculators anymore. They're early adopters of the next phase of financial engineering. You're not chasing luck, you're investing in stability. And when that stability starts shaping the real world, when Hedera becomes the invisible foundation behind your banking app, your hospital records, your electric grid, you'll remember this moment, the night we talked about a quiet upgrade that turned out to be the spark of something much bigger. Because that's what HIP 551 really is. Not a feature, but a signal. A signal that the crypto world is finally maturing, moving from chaos to coordination, from hype to harmony, from speculation to structure. And that's why Hedera's story matters. Because someday soon, when people ask you, how did you know, you'll smile, lean back, and say, because I paid attention when no one else did.